anyone who is waiting, today I'm going to be doing Frejon, which is a coconut bean soup. I'm going to be making it with my friend Sonia's Healthy Kitchen, who will hopefully be joining us soon. Um, Give me a wave or just drop me a message, Sonia, if you're having difficulties joining. We're going to be making a speedy version of Frejon using tinned beans and tinned coconut. So we're cheating a little bit today. But hey, Sonia, how's it going?
Hi.
We're cooking for John today, and the interesting thing is that this is actually my first time ever making it. I know of it, heard of it, and I know it's significant for Good Friday in Nigeria. But yeah, we never really had it when I was growing up. So,
No.
you want to say a bit about for John?
Yes. Funny enough, this is my third time doing it because I do remember it growing up, but I only had it once.
Okay.
I only had it once growing up, and it made such an impact on my, it was such a memorial meal that I remember it throughout. It's one of my happy memories for a child, even though I didn't have it. I only had it once, and at the time I was only given a little bit to taste. Actually, I don't remember actually eating a whole meal of it. But I do remember the smell and the buzz because it's Good Friday and all the ladies are out there cooking, and they're doing a huge batch of this stuff, so everywhere smells of coconut beans and the stew. So it's those happy memories that I remember. And yeah, and it wasn't until I was about 3 years ago that I remember, actually I couldn't even remember how it was spelt. So I just said, oh, actually I'm going to do some research just to find out what it is. And it's amazing that it connects us to like Brazil, other parts of Africa, Portuguese, and everyone's put their stamp on it. I just absolutely love that it just it just unites us, and everyone has their way of cooking it, and it's just amazing. So I just thought it'd be perfect, and it's only eating on Good Friday. But I think in Brazil, where it's the national dish, which I didn't realize, they have a version of it that is actually their national dish. So it's that good. So they eat it. Since it's their national dish, they probably eat it more often than we do in Nigeria, because we only eat it on Good Friday.
Good Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do just a very quick rundown of the ingredients.
Okay.
For anyone who might want to cook this later. So as I said, we're doing a speedy version using some tinned beans. I've got some tinned black-eyed beans. I've got a tin of coconut milk as well. Then you can pretty much season it however you want. Normally, a lot of people add sugar to theirs, but I think I'm going to skip on the sugar because I'm more...
I added coconut sugar to mine. I haven't got it at hand. And then I added a bit of mixed spice to mine.
I'm going to be using some cloves today.
Oh yes, clove is very important because there's clove already. When you get the mixed spice, there's clove already in one of the ingredients, but you can get them because that's another significant ginger, clove, and not so much cinnamon, but nutmeg. Nutmeg.
So I'm also going to be seasoning mine. I've just got this mix here that has got some garlic powder, some chili, and some onion powder.
So
that's just gonna make it savory.
Because you can go down the route of it being savory or it being sweet. I know people used it as dessert, so any leftover I'm going to have today, I'm definitely making a dessert, and I will post that.
Very cool.
No wasting any food.
So, still in the vein of like savory, I'm going to be topping mine. Okay, so traditionally it's topped with like dried fish, right, or fried fish. But obviously this is a vegan channel, so I'm going to be using some jackfruit, which I have just pan fried with some spices. And then
I was going to use jackfruit, but it had the one I have has sriracha in it, and I wasn't feeling that flavor. It's quite strong sriracha, so I didn't want it to overpower so I decided to leave it out. I'm going to go, my topping today is going to be another Brazil classic, which is farofa, I think it is. I'll explain later, so I'll let Tommy get on with her. So when I'm putting the topping on, I will explain what that is. It uses gari, which we're going to use today, and Tommy's going to explain that.
I'm going to be topping some gari as well. Gari is like dried cassava. It's cassava that's dried, grated, and then it's fried. And so what you have is a very coarse textured grain that is eaten in very different ways. You can just use it sprinkled on your beans. You can mix it with hot water, and you have like eba, which is sort of like a doughy consistency. Okay, and then one more point to make is that you can either use a high-speed blender when you're blending the beans and the coconut together. I'm just going to do, I'm going to use my immersion blender.
I think that is actually, because it would get, because sometimes when you're blending beans, the problem is if your blender is not that powerful, it won't blend the skin as well. So you do have tiny bits. And I don't know what you might do with yours, Tommy, but I tend to sieve mine to get out the bits because it's not very pleasant. They're so tiny.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're looking for sort of more of a smoother consistency, a high-speed blender will work. But thinking that if you do sort of blend it normally or use the immersion blender, then you can pass it through a sieve as well. All right, so let's get on with the recipe. So for anyone cooking with us, get all your ingredients ready and let's get started. Sonia, what would you say is the first thing we need to do?
It's definitely sort out the beans.
Okay, got my beans here.
Yeah, so you open up the tin and drain the water. Normally I preserve the water. I use it for aquafaba.
Okay.
But with it today, I prefer to use the water from chickpeas rather than the one from beans, but it's a preference. Yep, that's brilliant. Okay. I would say heat it up if you can. It blends up better if the beans are warmed up a bit.
Okay. Now at this point, would you add coconut milk now, or would you wait for the beans to heat up a little bit first?
You could add it. There's no hard and fast rule about it. Some people don't. Some people heat up the beans and then add the coconut bit. I would prefer to heat it up because it tends to, what's the word I'm looking for here? When you're cooking it with the coconut milk, because that's how it's actually done. The beans is actually cooked in coconut milk.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add mine then. I'm going to go
add yours then.
Half a tin?
Just a tiny bit, not a lot.
Not too much. Okay, I'll start with like water. Yeah, so I had my tin out of the fridge for a few hours just so it can...
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Yeah.
All right, so I've got my beans and my coconut milk in there.
Yeah, it does tend to thin out once you heat it up because of the fats. Because when it's sitting in the tin, it's gone a bit thick. It looks thick, but once you, so that's why you got to be careful not to put too much because you might think, oh, that's quite thick, but you'll find that like oil or any solid fat like that, it will thin out once it's heated. The consistency is from very thick, thin and soup to like a puree, and it's preference. It's whatever you prefer.
All right, I'm going to blend now, so it's going to make a bit of noise. So
yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
Let's see. Well, because those are good stuff. That's the fiber of the beans. So
yeah. Okay.
I use that for something else. I use them to bake.
So is this the point at which you would add your seasoning? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and add the seasoning.
So as we said earlier on, a lot of people add sugar to theirs.
Yep.
And so you can go ahead and do that if you want a sweet version. I'm making mine quite savory, so I'm just going to add a little pinch of salt, add some cloves to mine.
Just a point to make to people: when you're adding clove, if you haven't cooked with it, you've got to be really careful. It can be quite powerful and it might take over.
Yes. Do you think I should add a little bit more coconut milk to mine? Like a
Yeah,
little,
because
yeah?
little, because it will thicken up as it cools down.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got myself a couple of bowls here.
Okay.
Um,
Right, I was just going to mention as well.
Then we can maybe do the toppings together, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've got my jackfruit here. I've also got some Gary.
Okay,
And
I've got
pepper sauce as well.
I've got a pepper sauce as well.
Okay. And I managed to get 2 servings from this.
Oh, well done. Yeah, that's quite. Yeah, it will serve. It will serve too, because you're going to have Gary with it, and that's quite filling anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go for it.
Well done. Okay, so I'm going to put mine on as well. I've got, like I said, I've got. What I did is I toasted Gary with desiccated coconut. So that's an alternative you could use instead of Gary. I don't know if you can see, if people can see that. That's desiccated coconut. So I actually did a mixture of mine. I did both Gary, and it's a surprisingly tasty. I didn't think it would work, but I thought, ooh, too different. But no, it's fine. So I'm putting mine in. So I did say I did a farofo, which is a Brazilian. They actually use Gary as well, and Gary is actually just it's cassava, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just toasted, dried cassava. So the farofo I made is made up of, well, I used diced pepper. Yeah, I used diced pepper, and then I used red onions and red cabbage as well for color, and I also add some parsley. So what you do is you pan fry your chopped vegetables, which is usually the pepper, the tomatoes, and everything like that. And if you're going to put in any red onion, you pan fry that, and then you add some the Gary, and it gets nice and toasted. So if you can look at, I don't know, the color's not very, but my Gary is quite brown next to Tommy's one, which is quite still quite opaque white.
Yeah.
So mine will go really toasty and crunchy because I wanted a nice texture to my. And I also toasted some cashew nuts, so I'm going to put that on.
Nice.
I'm going to put in my diced peppers. And I've also had pepper sauce as well. Mine is made of harissa sauce. I usually use fresh tomatoes, but I didn't want to go to the shops. I wanted to use what I had, so I used harissa. So it is harissa. But it's quite spicy, guys. So yeah, you got to really careful. Yeah, go easy. But I can handle it. We have spices in my house every day. But then people tend to mistake spicy as they associate spicy as being hot. But spicy could be with spices. It doesn't necessarily have to be hot, because ginger is not so hot. But that's also spicy. Okay, so what else are we adding? Yeah, I've got my pepper sauce.
I love the look of yours, Sonia. It's so colorful.
Thank you.
I've gone for more of a minimalist look with mine.
Yeah, but this was the speedy version anyway, so.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let me try. I'm going to try the soup on its own first.
Yeah, you have all those different lovely textures and tastes, so you get a sense of, you still taste the Frejon, and then you still taste the Gary gives it a nice crunch, because otherwise it would have been what?
I really like the jackfruit with this.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try that next. Because I thought mine, the jackfruit I had, I thought it was plain, but mine is. This is really yummy. You definitely got to let us know if you've tried it. Please tag us. Let us
Mhm.
know what you think.
Exactly. Well, then, everyone have an amazing weekend. Happy Easter and all that. Yeah, and hopefully we'll do another one soon. Right, Sonia?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. I'm up for that. I love these because it's amazing, having a chat with people and
Mhm.
them joining in with us and cooking along with us.